Welcome to Oh No, the Zozo Show. I'm that gayish friend that wants you to enjoy every bit of your orgasm because you fucking deserve it. Thanks for tuning in with me today, everybody. Welcome to Season 3 finale. Yes, that's right, Season 3 finale today. It's been such a whirlwind of a season, and so much has happened between the products, the athleisure line, the sex toys, the lashes, and a lot of personal stuff with moving and dealing with family issues, that getting everything out on a regular schedule just seems so difficult. However, I'm glad that I was able to make it through. I have some pre-recorded episodes with some guests. However, I wanted to save that to a more consistent and more concise season where everybody can say, hey, he's actually keeping up with what he said he's going to be keeping up with. Well, it's a lot, and I feel like I've done fairly well this season. It's just not the right amount that I know I'm capable of giving. So I opted to just say, hey, let's have a nice little season finale, and let's make it a fun one. So everything in the world today has been a little bit chaotic. And as you know, Pride Month just ended, and so much has been going on, and so much has been said about the gay agenda by people who really, in my personal opinion, don't know what they're talking about. So I said, you know what, this is a perfect fucking finale. Let's talk about it. The gay agenda. You know what? No. Even better, the Gayest Agenda. Season finale. So in case you didn't know, the government has been slipping some gay agenda propaganda and gay agenda serum into the tap water. Just kidding. No, they're not. However, the numbers within the LGBTQ identifying community, especially within adults, has actually jumped dramatically. According to a recent Gallup poll, the numbers have gone up from, let's say, 3.5% in 2012 to 7.1% in 2021. And thank goodness, I think this is something that should really be discussed a bit more. I have always had the feeling that, or I personally believe that nobody is entirely straight or entirely gay. Somebody can find attractiveness in the same sex as well as the opposite sex. And as well, somebody of the same sex can turn somebody who is not usually attracted to the same sex. If you tickle somebody and you get a little excited and you have a nice little bit of chemistry, that's an attraction. That's a bit of horniness that's kind of built up. And you know what? Kudos to the Gen Z, because they are all over the place. I went out a couple weeks ago with my girlfriends, and I love seeing the comfort and the ease and just the all-out love that they show to one another for being exactly who they are. It might not always be easy, and there were a lot of obstacles to overcome to get to that point, but Gen Z, defined by a Gallup people born between 1997 and 2003, is leading the way. 20 to 21% of them are identifying as LGBTQ+, and in 2017, that was only about 10.5%. So we're clearly making great progress with people accepting themselves for who they are, and that self-hate and self-loathing and world of confusion is definitely starting to take a backseat, albeit not as quick as I would personally like to see, because I know there's still so much progress that can be made. It's just so comforting to see that things are starting to change, especially in a time and place where even I, at my age, didn't think that it would be happening quite like this. Now, of course, we all know that the gay agenda started well before Christianity was around. I mean, honestly, the Romans and the Greeks were doing it right. The Egyptians were handling business, and I probably would have had a whole lot of fun back in the day. But let's fast forward to, let's say, the 60s and what Pride was really about and what the change of the gay agenda was really going on. In the 60s, it was a very difficult time for our community. LGBTQ plus individuals would usually flock to gay bars and places that weren't necessarily supposed to be open, that weren't necessarily supposed to be open and weren't supposed to be advertised. However, within those places, there was great refuge. There was solace in knowing that they could go somewhere and express themselves openly and socialize with other people who had similar interests, who were as equally great in dressing up or putting on shows as much as they needed to be. Uh, some more history. At the time in the 60s, the Stonewall Inn became such an important place or institution as it accepted all members of the gay community, including transsexuals and my favorite drag queens. Now, unfortunately, the night of June 28th in 69, police raided Stonewall Inn. And it was unfortunate because for years they had continually harassed people of Stonewall Inn and putting them in jail for minor offenses or infractions, or honestly arresting them with no cause other than them being gay. Homophobia was such a bullshit thing back in the day, and it's such a bullshit thing today. However, what pride really came from was people having enough of being bullied around. So, one night when people were trying to be loaded up into cop cars and getting arrested, the police officers were met with resistance. And in this instance, fuck the police. And then, from there, the riot went on for days with thousands of people joining the protest and even joining in with fighting back against the police and the police brutality. And kudos to them. I would not be able to have a platform like this, and other people would not be able to have a platform to speak and do what they do without the generations before us. Now, I will say the younger generation can use a little tip, at least in my personal opinion, about, making sure that they understand why we have pride, and also throwing out a little bit of respect to your elders. I know I can't believe I'm in that position, but being more aware of it and celebrating pride as more than just a parade of having a rainbow flag and doing whatever you want is significant, especially for me, because I grew up in a situation where being prideful about being who I was completely shunned, even though I know a lot of my family members knew without me saying anything. There were always subliminal hints that I should keep my mouth shut or I should not do the things that I want to do. And that's a terrible feeling for anyone. And it's amazing to see the leaps and bounds that our community has come. And the great thing about those riots, honestly, was the legacy that it left, and a lot more individuals in the LGBTQ plus community had presented to them to promote their activism. It helped form a numerous amount of gay rights organizations, and the following years, thousands of people marched the streets from Stonewall Inn to Central Park in the official chant, "Say it loud, gay is proud." I mean, obviously, this is considered our country's first gay pride parade, and thank goodness. We needed it. I mean, I am bedazzled out in this very heavy cat suit with a cowboy hat that's lighting up and heating up my bald head like no tomorrow. And I'm a gay black man from an island community that would usually have choked me out by now if this were me growing up comfortably in my home. Of course, now I'm an adult, doing things comfortably my own way. So, fuck the miserable childhood I had. But anyways, that's another story. And it's just quite a relief. And, year after year, we see how the end of June, if you know anything about New York Pride, it's the major one across all the world. People fly in and march and have a blast. It's so important for our community, and that representation matters. Not only in the USA, but as I mentioned, people from all around the world recognize it. The celebration of identity and the celebration of love is continually getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's so hard to ignore. Of course, as you know, in every parade month, there is a symbol of pride that can't be ignored, and you definitely can't avoid seeing, and that is the rainbow flag. That beautifully colored flag is a symbol of hope and diversity. Now, the original flag was created in 1978 by a designer, Gilbert Baker, who was commissioned by the politician Harvey Milk, and that was for San Francisco's 1978 Pride Parade. The flag originally had 8 stripes, each representing a different aspect of the LGBT community, but the flag was later reduced to 6 stripes with the removal of pink and turquoise. Um, Now, the great thing about this flag is it's a reminder that love is love. Now, if you're going off of religious purposes, it's God's promise to the world that He's never going to destroy it again after the flood and yada yada yada. It's not a religious person, as you know. Now, that flag is just a beautiful reminder that love is love and that everyone should be free to live their life without judgment or discrimination. Rainbows are both natural and beautiful with a multitude of colors. And ta-da, that's the gay community. And of course, with it being something that our community loves and cherishes, that's also something that brings us together. It represents togetherness since the LGBTQ people come from all ages, all races, all genders. And representation really, truly matters. For many LGBTQ plus children like myself, it was difficult only seeing a straight couple and the idea of what unity should be between somebody you love. And, I about tortured myself wondering why I couldn't be like the people on TV because I didn't see anybody like me. There is a major lack of representation of identities on television shows that you see, especially for the young ones growing up now. We turn to objects like television characters to help find our way. We want somebody to help relate to us, which is also why I'm doing this. If somebody can see this or listen to this and relate to me in any way, shape, or form, then great. Know that you're okay. Things are going to get okay. And if you need help finding your way, come and chat with me. Come have a listen. Or find somebody that you can relate to. Unfortunately, those options are extremely limited because we are such a huge minority in the grand scheme of things. But when television shows reflect a variety of people and experiences and lives that are lived, that can increase cultural competence to their mindsets. That can open up their minds to say, hey, okay, this is why I'm feeling this way. And while LGBTQ plus representation in children's media has increased, it is still difficult to implement all the ins and outs of representation. And, that's unfortunate. However, we're going to get there. So I'm all for watching 2 women on the new Buzz Lightyear movie make out, or watching gay parents on a Disney Channel raise a family, because I have a husband and kids, and it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful to be able to experience things that I never thought would happen, that seems so far out of reach for me. And it's just an amazing feeling. And know that if you are struggling, you can get to a point to where you can feel comfortable with yourself. So don't give up on the gay agenda. The gay agenda really is just wanting everybody to live comfortably, live happily, and be accepted for who they are and what they are, which is a human being. Okay, let's get to a nookie fact. Nookie fact. The first sitting president to ever recognize Pride Month was President Bill Clinton on June 11th, 1999. And to you, sir, I salute you and thank you for allowing me to be exactly who I am. Happy Nookie Facts! Well, everyone, I must say farewell. Thank you for tuning in with me this season. It was a little hectic, but I really appreciate you sticking it through with me, and thank you for really keeping me motivated. I hope you tune in next season. That's going to be airing sometime in September. Haven't had the official launch date because I'm still working on a few other items, but be sure to follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, for a whole lot of other updates. We're going to have new products out, we're going to have more lashes out, and just a whole slew of amazing things. It's been such a wild ride this season that I really can't believe that it's already over. But thank you, and remember, Pride is for everyone. Love yourselves, be good to yourselves, and be good to each other. As always, love and peace, and until next season, this is Zoe. Mwah.